Hello everybody, Realm Builder Guy here, and welcome back to the channel. And something new and something I'm planning on doing a few times now moving forward. Over the next few weeks, I will be diving into some of these absolutely fantastic total conversion overhaul mods for Crusader Kings 3. And this first one I'm going to look at is the Fallen Eagle, the Dawn of the Dark Ages. The link to the mod through the Steam Workshop is down in the description. Now, if you like these kind of mod overview, review type videos, please let me know that by hitting the like button, and let me know if you've played this one or what overhaul mods I should look at in the future. I've got a few on the list that I will be doing, already have the thumbnails created for them, and have them downloaded, and I've been playing here and there with them to kind of get a feel for them. So let me know that down in the description. Also in the description, you can find links to Twitter, Twitch, Discord, and Patreon, as well as the Nexus GG store where you can get Crusader Kings 3, Imperator Rome, you name it, all down there. So now we're going to take a look here. I have played around with it a little bit. But the Fallen Eagle, the Dawn of the Dark Ages, is a total conversion mod for Crusader Kings 3 that focuses on the period near the end, or basically at the end of the Roman Empire period, right when the Huns are coming into Europe. So as you can see here, we've got multiple dates that you can play, different bookmarks. Right now, the only playable one is 395 AD, a divided empire. Emperor Theodosius has died, and he slumbers beneath the earth. The Roman world above him burns under chaos, corruption, and self-destruction. Upon his death, the Roman Empire was divided, with his two sons inheriting the two halves of the empire, Honorius in the west and Arcadius in the east. Both are unable to stop the Germanic and Hunnic invaders, and the Western Empire seems on the verge of total collapse. Can the brothers prevent the downfall of their empires, or will they let Roman civilization be snuffed out? So in 395, see, it's a custom map just in terms of like the fonts used and stuff like that. So you can start as Emperor Arcadius I or Emperor Honorius I. He's 10 and he is 17, but of course you can play as any ruler, and we'll get into that here in a second. Also want to show you some of the other ones that they are still working on, but right now the bookmark is disabled. One is the Fall of Ravenna in 476 AD. So the Ostrogothic general Odoacer has overthrown Orestes and his son Emperor Romulus Augustulus after capturing the capital at Ravenna. So that's that bookmark. The next one is the Reconquest of the West, 532 AD. It has been 5 decades since the collapse of Western Rome, and the lands of Gaul, Britannia, Italia, Africa, and Hispania are occupied by Germanic tribes. Then 632, the Sword of Islam. Muhammad has died, and his successor, Abu Bakr, creates the Rashidun Caliphate, unites Arabia under his rule. Then you've got the Rise of Charlemagne in 768. That's the final bookmark you have in here that they are working on. After the passing of Pepin the Short, the Frankish realm was divided between his sons Charlemagne and Carloman. So will Carloman lead the Frankish realm to glory, power, and wealth, or will he let the legacy left by his father turn to dust? Of course, we're going to look at the Divided Empire 395 bookmark, because that's just the one that's playable. And honestly, of all of these, this is really the one that I find the most intriguing. I'm a huge fan of Total War Attila, which in my opinion is probably the best Total War out there. Feel free to disagree down in the comments. And this kind of plays with that general time period. So now let's dive into playing as any ruler and look a little bit closer at the map and the factions available for you to play. So here is the world in 395 AD. As you can see, it's pretty much the entirety, more or less. I mean, there are a few areas cropped out from the standard Crusader Kings 3 playthrough. But the world looks a little bit different. If we look at major powers, you can already see you've got the Western Roman Empire here with its Imperator Honorius, oh my lord. Then Eastern Roman Empire, you have Arcadius, Both of them are kids. Then up north, you have the Hunnic Empire under the rule of High King Uldin. And then you have the Sassanids. That is Shahanashah Bahram of the Sassanid Empire. And you can see they are Zoroastrian in faith and Persian. And then you have Gupta, Samrat Chandragupta of the Gupta Empire. And they are Bengali culture and the Vaishnavism Hindu faith. Those are kind of the major big powers you can see here, but there are plenty of other ones to get into. I want to show one right off the bat here. We've got Aksum down here. So Coptic Ethiopian, Negos Aeon of Aksum. I think that would be a really interesting playthrough in this one, as well as possibly any of the tribes here in Arabia. You have a Bedouin Christian faith tribe here. Then you also have a Himarite Jewish faith right here, a Lodian as well. So there are quite a few interesting ones to play here. If we move over to Asia, you can see there are so many different smaller factions to play in Central Asia, as well as here pushing into East Asia. And this one here I personally find really intriguing is Count Kongi of Dajin, who is of the Han dynasty. So House Han, Han dynasty, he is Han culture and Mahayana Buddhist faith. What makes this one so interesting, obviously this is after the fall of the Han, is what if you could recreate the Han dynasty and conquer all these lands? I mean, there's so many small little counties and factions here, a few around you that also share your Han culture. But you can unite the different Han factions here and rebuild a true Han empire here in Central Asia. That would be a really fun one. Then the other interesting factions, of course, you've got a lot of the Germanic tribes. You've got the Quadi, the Marcomanni, Germania Superior here, which are the House Alaman. Now here there are little things that they're probably still working on. He is Swabian. You go up here to the Langobardi and the Lombards. They are considered Swabian, and it's written differently. That might be an oversight. It might also be intention. I'm not 100% sure. Of course, the Swabian, the way this is written, turns into Schwaben, which is Swabia written this way. So maybe that's the direction that's gone. And the kingdom tier realm here of Germania Superior, of course, that looks a lot like the German flag of the, I guess, Kingdom of Germany. Then you have the Merovingians here that are coming to power in this area here. Saxonia, you've got the Vodenzinga here. So a lot of really interesting people to play in the Germanic world. You have the Burgundians as well. Very interesting. You have the Angles here. You've got the Jutes here in Scandinavia. The Frisians over here. If we then go over to the British Isles, of course, you have the Holy Roman Empire. Then you've got Britons. You have Caledonian Christians. Then you've got Picts here as well. Then you've got Irish, Druidic Irish tribes over in Ireland. If we look here, we found a few. I'm trying to find them here. Was it here in Britain or somewhere else? So those are all Roman. I'm trying to find, there are also quite a few Hellenist leaders across the region. If I could find it, there we go. Hellenic, Greek here in Achaia. And then if we look here in the Eastern Roman Empire, we also have Dacia, and then we have the Visigoths, King Alaric, the famous King Alaric of the Visigoths here as well. And then just to the north, we have Alans, we have Gepids, and here are little things that I think they're still working on, like Gepid is lower caps instead of capitalized. They're small things that, you know, I'm sure they're going to work on. Then you've got the Vandals here in Hastings, so more Swabians there. So it's a really interesting mod. There are a lot of different factions to play in one of the most interesting time periods. Here you've got the Ostrogoths, who are, of course, underneath the power of the Huns. So this could be an interesting one. If you say, hey, let's go into becoming King Winitar of the Ostrogoths and becoming independent again from the powerhouse that is the Hunnic Empire. So that's kind of a general overview of this mod and all the different factions you are able to play. So what are some of the additional features we have? Of course, you have this detailed map, then the unique and playable historical figures. Attila the Hun is also in the game. You have a unique interface, migration mechanic for the Germanic tribes that does kick in. And when you look at, don't have it here right now because I'm doing this in observing mode, but there are different things you can adjust in the settings, and the migration is part of it. I'm assuming they're using a lot of the same mechanics they do for, the movement of the Mongols or the Hungarians to kind of play in that here. A new government system for the Western Eastern Roman empires, and they've also added new music, sound effects, and immersive atmosphere. So there's a lot going on in this mod. So let's just dive in here real quickly as the Eastern Roman Empire. Of course, there are a few different things. We can create a cadet branch of the House Theodosius. So we could create a cadet branch right now, and obviously not going to worry about that right now. He's currently at war with King Alaric of the Visigoths that are migration into Pannonia. So that is a current war going on. We've got 4,700. Alan has 11,000. And I actually started to play through as Alaric. I said Alan. As Alaric himself. And honestly won this war relatively easily and quickly. Was able to create a Visigothic empire here before the Hunnic Empire really started pushing these guys here. So that's one thing you can do. I would, again, the ERE and the Western Roman Empire are considered hard starts because you're immediately dealing with a lot of pressure. And you have a large empire to try to deal with at the same time. It's very reminiscent of a Total War Attila in the sense that playing as the Western Roman Empire is really difficult. Eastern Roman Empire is difficult, but a little bit easier. For me, some of the most interesting ones to play as, and again, I've only done the one playthrough as King Alaric of the Visigoths, and I really, really enjoyed it. The only thing I would change here, and that's where, obviously, the full-screen barbershop mod that I talked about in 5 great mods, it is compatible with this and all the total conversion overhaul mods that I will be reviewing moving forward, is I'd change that gaudy crown. I don't really see King Alaric of the Visigoths at that time wearing a crown quite that ostentatious, but, that's for you to decide, depending on what you want to do, but that is definitely something I would change. I changed it for me because I just couldn't handle it, couldn't deal with it. So overall, what I found from this mod is that it played really, really well. I didn't really come across any major bugs or issues. The only thing that I saw a few times were maybe, again, capitalization versus non-capitalization of some names in the culture groups, but I think, this is definitely still a work in progress. I'm curious to see what they add to the other bookmarks, though I would say this is the most intriguing one. In the game, the end date is 1453, is still standard here in the game, but I know the goal here is to basically go to 876, but I'm pretty sure you could play this now from 395 till 1453. So that gives you a ton of gameplay possibility here. So if you like truly historical overhaul mods or timelines or bookmarks, which I guess are timelines, and features within Crusader Kings 3, then the Fallen Eagle is definitely a mod that I recommend you give a go and play. There are just so many different factions you can play, and the replayability is pretty outstanding with this one. The timeline is great. The storylines you can create between the fall of the great Roman empires, the Huns coming, and then the Sassanids as well, right over here. I mean, there's a lot here. For me, one of the interesting ones that I will be trying out is playing as the Han. If I can find them again over here. I think, where are they? Are they right there? Yeah, playing as the Han Dynasty and rebuilding the Han Dynasty over here. I think that would be, honestly, one of the most interesting playthroughs you could do for any Crusader Kings 3, but especially here on the Fallen Eagle. So let me know down in the description if you've played this, how your experience has been. Again, I've only played as the Visigoths and Alaric so far, but I really enjoyed it. I love the timeline, and I can see myself spending way more time playing the Fallen Eagle moving forward. If this is something you'll enjoy, or think you'll enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, so you don't miss out on any more Crusader Kings 3 content, including way more overhaul mod reviews coming here in the future. And definitely check out the link in the description to the Steam Workshop page where you can download the Fallen Eagle. So until next time, I'm Realm Builder Guy, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.